British Prime Minister Theresa May has asked the EU for yet another extension to Brexit, saying the UK needs more time to avoid leaving the bloc without a deal. In a letter sent to European Council President Donald Tusk, May asked for the Brexit deadline to be delayed until up to June 30th. She said she hoped to get Britain out of the EU before European elections in May. But she said that London would make preparations to hold the elections if that's not possible. Britain's Parliament remains deadlocked over the withdrawal agreement Theresa May secured with the EU. For more on this, we're joined from London by DW's Birgit Maas and from Brussels by DW's Georg Mattis. First to you in London, Birgit. Can you give us some details on what exactly Theresa May is asking for this time?
Well, the reasoning behind Theresa May's request is that she wants more time to sort out Brexit, basically, because here in Parliament she has faced deadlock. She has tried time and again to get the deal that she has negotiated with Brussels to get it through, but she has failed. So now she has a plan B. She's holding talks with the opposition, with the Labour Party, but she knows that this will take time. So if they come to an agreement, it would take more than just a couple of weeks, but she's asking for this time to be given until the end of June. And the reasoning behind the end of June is that then the European Parliament would sit. So Britain would make provisions for the EU Parliament elections, but the MEPs wouldn't actually start sitting until July. So she really wants to prevent that, but she knows she needs more time here in London.
Georg, to you now in Brussels. There are conflicting comments coming from Brussels and Paris today on a second extension. Is there agreement with the EU on this?
There are indeed. What we've heard from Paris so far is that it's a bit premature to talk about this kind of an extension. And it's not surprising, really, because Theresa May has asked for that deadline already once, when she, for the first time, asked for an extension to the to the March deadline. And back then at the EU summit, there was quite a row over whether the UK should be given that extension. The decision then was a two-stage extension, which the UK is currently facing in April and in May. And so I'm not sure if EU leaders will give in to Theresa May's wishes. In fact, Donald Tusk, the head of the European Council, has made a suggestion for a much longer extension, a year's extension, that includes some flexibility. So if a deal would pass the House of Parliament, then the UK could leave. The attractive part of that solution would be that the EU avoids the UK coming every other week asking for short extensions.
OK. Birgit, back to you. How is Theresa May's decision to seek this extension and hold EU elections, how's that likely to go down on both sides of the political aisle in London?
I think overall it's really not a very good look. If you speak to people on the streets, most of them can't really understand what's going on. Why is it taking them so long? Why can't we just leave? Especially those who wanted Brexit. Here in Parliament, those who are advocating a softer Brexit, maybe staying in the customs union, some sort of alignment to the single market, which would be more the Labour position. For them, this is good news because they would have time to influence the Brexit process and getting their views heard in the government and their deal, a different deal negotiated here in London. So for those then who advocated for Brexit, who really were driving this process, for them it's something of a taboo. They really don't want the European elections. Most of them, at least, are very clear that they don't want it. And so it really depends which side of the aisle you're looking on. But overall, for the people, I think most of them don't want to have more uncertainty. They just want to know, when is this over?
OK. And Georg, briefly, if you could, what happens next in Brussels? There's a key EU summit set for next week. What's going to happen now?
Well, EU leaders will have to decide on that summer whether they will give Theresa May that extension or whether they will make an alternative offer, potentially even the longer extension, the flex tension, including flexibility to leave whenever a deal has been reached. That all will be discussed next week at the summit. At the end of the day, for the EU, it's absolutely crucial that a disorderly Brexit can be avoided.
All right. Georg Mattis in Brussels and Birgit Maas in London, thank you so much.